All right, for more on this, we are joined by Einar Tangen, who's a political and economic commentator, joining us from Beijing. Mr. Tangen, always a pleasure speaking with you. Wanted to ask, what will Putin be seeking from China, and what will China be seeking from Putin regarding this visit? It's his second visit in just over 6 months. What should one expect?
Well, as you pointed out, the economics are booming. China, with its incredible amounts of manufacturing, its trade relations, primary trade relations with over 120 countries, combined with Russian resources, which are #1 in the world, and its geographical reach across 11 time zones that brings it through the stands, through Europe, and also the Middle East. Very, very potent combination, something that Washington views as a threat and something that they will try to derail to the best of their ability.
Mr. Tangen, now there is also a closed-door meet which is expected to take place. It's going to be a 1+4 format. I wanted to understand, what should one expect? It is deemed, at least that's what the Russian state media claim, that it will be dedicated towards talks over Ukraine. How do you expect those talks to go? What should one expect on the Ukrainian front?
Okay, so let's put this into perspective. There was a Minsk I and Minsk II agreement that was long before this latest escalation in the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. During that time, Merkel and also Hollande signed off on agreements, but they later said that they had no intention of following through, that they were just delaying tactics to help Ukraine rearm and resist Russia. So trust is a big, big issue here. And the question is, how do you bring these two sides together to come to some sort of agreement? Obviously, militarily, Russia has the upper hand in Ukraine, but it's not going to be able to expand to all of Ukraine. There's been too much blood spilled. There's very little, if they did take over all of Ukraine, they would have to, in essence, garrison it against ongoing activity, possibly terrorist or, insurgent. That would be very, very difficult and extremely draining to Russia. So I think at this point, people are trying to figure out how these gains by both sides can be, kind of solidified. I shouldn't say both sides, I say from Russia, how you can get to a peace process. China is not trying to impose any idea of it, but they want peace in that area. It's vital to China's interest in trying to have at least a regional area that is peaceful and where trade can go on.
Mr. Tangen, also, now, just days ago, there was a shake-up in the cabinet in Russia. Of course, there's been a change in defense minister in Putin's cabinet. Of course, the change of defense chief and bringing in a civilian with an economic expertise. Talk to us about Putin's plans regarding the economy. Of course, that is what the focus is, and you mentioned it briefly in your initial response as well. How can China be crucial to Putin's developments and steps here?
Well, I mean, China represents a huge opportunity for both countries. As I said, the international press is trying to present this as somehow one way that Putin is a junior partner. That's nonsense. China has a very poor resource per person. I think it ranks around 100 in the world out of 200 countries. Obviously, Russia, #1, and with its proven military, very potent, partner in the world. Both, as you mentioned, are under pressure from Washington, but it's going to be more about economics than warfare. I mean, it's time to put away the guns and start figuring out how you can deal with all of the problems that the world is having, including climate change, the economic situation, other conflicts, including Gaza, things like that, and a world which is really changing. I mean, as India is finding out with its, rapprochement with Iran, the settled powers like the U.S. don't like it. But, these are sovereign nations, and increasingly, whether it's South Africa or Argentina or whatever, they're speaking out and saying exactly what they feel, something that would not have happened many years ago.
As you said it rightly, I think the focus now is going to be more on economics more than guns. Thank you so much for joining in. That was Einar Tangen joining us from Beijing. Always a pleasure speaking with you.